Tonight, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is revealing much more about her public break with President Trump. She told 60 Minutes that her Republican colleagues mocked Trump behind his back, and she revealed this about the death threats she's been receiving ever since their falling out. Watch.
The subject line for the direct death threats on my son was his words, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Those are death threats directly fueled by President Trump. I told him, I told J.D. Vance, I told them all, sent those directly to them.
Response?
J.D. Vance replied back to me.
Trump just threatened MTG with death threats as she blames in and exposes Trump for the Epstein cover-up. Watch this.
We'll look into it. I got response back from President Trump that I will keep private, but it wasn't very nice.
Give us a hint of what the president said.
It was extremely unkind.
Well, Jason and Nikki are back with us, and that does not sound like she's going quietly in the night. That sounds like a woman who has ammunition and she's mad and she's going to tell her story, and it's not a very flattering one to Donald Trump.
No, absolutely not. And of course, it's awful that Greene and her family were going through that kind of thing. But at the same time, I can't help but recall watching the last, 6 years of Marjorie Taylor Greene encourage that same sort of behavior towards Trump's critics, towards school teachers who supported their LGBTQ students, to librarians, doctors, anyone who sort of contradicted the Trump agenda. And I'm glad she's speaking out. I'm glad she's talking about the rank hypocrisy within the Republican ranks, where it's so clear most of the time that these people don't actually believe what they're saying, but are sticking with it anyway because they're afraid of a primary challenge or a Mean Truth Social post. But you had years to do that. This has been going on for ages. And the fact that she's coming out and saying this in this moment where it seems abundantly clear that, well, there's very early signs that could lead to excess confidence that 2026 might be a blue wave election. Now, when she's choosing to step out with her millions, with her pension, is when she's choosing to talk about all this. I'm sympathetic, but also there's a gain in it for her.
How is this rift playing out in MAGA world when you're out there talking to folks? I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene at one point, as Nikki was saying, was one of the most stalwart supporters of the MAGA agenda. She was die-hardcore MAGA. I think people loved her in the MAGA world. So what's the reporting there in MAGA land right now about Marjorie Taylor Greene and now that she's seen the light?
Well, I think Trump supporters loved that Marjorie Taylor Greene loved Donald Trump. I think it was more about that than it was anything she was saying. As we said before, she's believed in a lot of conspiracy theories, QAnon, all that. She just last year was sending out tweets about weather manipulation by the U.S. government in relation to hurricanes. But now she's really picked a convenient time to do this, and I'm wary of it.
This is the core hypocrisy alert. TG didn't suddenly go a conscience. She grew a political opportunity. Trump is vulnerable, and the Epstein files are resurfacing. 2026 looked shaky for Republicans, and MTG, she sees an opening to reinvent herself as a truth teller. This pause is where viewers need to understand. MTG isn't breaking from Trump because of morality. She's breaking because MAGA brand is fracturing, and she wants to land on the winning side, which makes her shift more calculated.
I'm of two minds, kind of, where I'm happy that she's doing this and she's speaking truth, but she has had 6 years to, and she's seen this firsthand with her colleagues who have been attacked by Donald Trump, Republicans as well, who have tried to go against him, and they face death threats. Yep. And Democrats, too. And Democrats, there have been acts of violence that have maybe been encouraged by Donald Trump, or at least by some of his rhetoric, and they were carried out by some of his supporters. So I do think it's a little odd that she's doing this about face now. And look, if she sticks with it and she really believes this, I believe in forgiveness. I think you can forgive the past, but I really want to see how this plays out in the next month and 6 months.
Kind of seems like she's still protecting the president a tiny bit there, even just not telling Leslie Stahl exactly what Trump said there, but just saying that it's not nice. If you're going to burn it all down, just burn it all down.
The classical political two-step. she's gonna burn it all down, but like only 80% of it, and keep the other 20% in her back pocket, just in case she needs to build a bridge later. It's like saying you are living a bad relationship, but you still keep a key to the apartment, just in case it gets cold out. This isn't a principled stand, it's a political calculus. If you are going to turn on a former ally, especially one as prominent as Donald Trump, you go all in. You don't hold back the juicy details. You don't play coy, and you certainly don't protect him by saying his response was not nice. That is what you say about a bad Yelp review, not about a political figure you are blaming for death threats. It screams of someone trying to carve out a new political niche without fully alienating our base, or perhaps keeping open the door for a future reconciliation if the political winds shift. It's a calculated risk, not a moral crusade, and frankly, it undermines any credibility she might be trying to build as someone who has finally seen the light. If you are going to be a rebel with a cause, not a rebel with an exit strategy. This half-hearted betrayal makes you just look like she's opportunistic, not enlightened. Come on, Marjorie. Either you are in or out. No halfway houses in the political arena.
Well, maybe she's doing it like tactically.
Yeah,
maybe. And like, I think
or we're gonna get like a book.
No, that's what I was just gonna say. It's like the book deal. I've got this $1 million band.
Stupid me thinking like she would be like, it's not profit motivated.
Yeah, I do want to bring up something else that she said in the 60 Minutes interview where she was asked about her future political ambitions. Yeah. Can we play that?
People think you're doing it and that you, in a year or so, are going to run for some other office.
I have zero plans, zero desire to run for president. I would hate the Senate. I'm not running for governor. But Leslie, it doesn't matter how many times I say it. I'll have face-to-face conversations with people, and I'll flat out tell them to their face, and they won't believe me. And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. And they wink at me, and I'm like, okay.
Nikki, what do you make of that?
I don't think any politician worth their salt admits they're running until the day they announce the campaign. So, okay, Marge, I'm sure we won't see you ever again.
She didn't say that, to be fair. Yeah. She did not say that.
No, yeah.
Yeah, there could be a podcast.
Yeah,
there could be a talk show. There could be a book.
Would you take her on the road with you to be part of the show?
Yeah, it's funny because
her
boyfriend, we run into at all of the Trump rallies, Brian Glenn. And we'll have pleasant conversations.
And he's pitching you
he's pitching,
show with her or something?
What it's going to be on MS now. This is us announcing
breaking news?
Yeah,
the Amazing Race.
Across
the
Amazing Race.
So, Jason, if you were interviewing Marjorie Taylor Greene out on the road, what would you ask her?
I would ask her, I would say, what is the moment that you decided you were going to turn your back on Donald Trump? And why? And I would hook her up to a lie detector when I asked that question. Because I think obviously,
now you're getting into Kev Patel territory.
Yes, I know, exactly. That's how I run my show. But I think I want to know what the reason is, and because it seems like it's all related to Jeffrey Epstein, and because of that, it seems very noble of her. And I don't know if that's a political play or if that is truly what she believes. Because the way she describes it and how she's talked about it is, she asked Donald Trump about this, about the Epstein files. It's like, why won't you release it? And he says, well, because innocent people will get hurt. And it's like, well, what about the innocent people that were hurt by Jeffrey Epstein? And if that was really the straw that broke the camel's back, or maybe, I don't know, like the club that broke it because she was completely loyal to him until then maybe that is noble. But I want to know exactly what it is. And the lie detector is key to that. And you should do that on all of your interviews. Make sure you get the truth.
We got to squeeze in one more topic real quick, which is the Netflix deal. I want to play for you what Donald Trump said on the red carpet earlier tonight at the Kennedy Center Honors. Watch this.
Should they be allowed to buy Warner Brothers? Should Netflix?
Well, that's the question. They have a very big market share. And when they have Warner Brothers, that share goes up a lot. So I don't know. That's going to be for some economists to tell. And I'll be involved in that decision, too.
Whoa. I'll be involved in that decision, too. Did you hear that? The former president talking about a private company merger, explicitly stating that he's going to be involved in that decision. This isn't just a slip of tongue. It is a flashing neon sign, pointing to the very disdain and government overreach that conservatives are supposed to despise. This isn't how a free market is supposed to work. The idea that a president, or even a former president, can just unilaterally insert themselves into private business dealings and influence massive mergers is fundamentally anti-capitalist and reeks of corruption. It is a very clear signal to every major corporation in America. If you want to get big, you don't just innovate or compete. You lobby, you schmooze, and you curry favor with whoever holds the most power in Washington. This isn't about economic policy. It's about political leverage. It turns the entire regulatory process into a transactional game where access to President Trump, consumer protection, fair competition, and the rule of law. It is a dangerous precedent and undermines the very foundations to a very fair and open economy. We should all be alarmed when a president, past or present, believes is a kingmaker in a corporate world. It's a clear indication that the line between public service and private gain had not just been blurred, but completely erased. This is the kind of stuff that makes you wonder who's really running the show. Let me know your thoughts on the story in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, always keep thinking. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.
They have a very big market share.
So two things. One, I'll be involved in that decision. Kind of a bold statement by a president. I don't know if the president was supposed to be saying that, right?
Yeah, the quiet part loud right there, yeah.
So I'm sure there are a few lawyers that are kind of looking at that right now. I'm like,
I'm sure Netflix's lawyers are looking at that, because that is exactly what AT&T and Time Warner argued when the previous Trump administration tried to block that merger, and they claimed that this was just animus against CNN, which was part of the merger, and they won their case.
And also, there's some reporting that the CEO of Netflix met with Donald Trump in November of this year, and basically the reporting suggests that he had told him that there was going to be this attempt to buy Warner Brothers, and so it just raises a lot of questions as to how this deal and why this deal is happening now. What are your thoughts?
I think if we see a very flattering docuseries on Donald
Trump. You know how that's exactly what happened in that deal. Like I don't know. I mean,
that's not even a joke.
He's like, hey, Obama got a deal. I want my deal to be bigger than Obama's on Netflix.
It's going to be like a $100 million movie about how the 2020 election was stolen.
Amazon's documentary about Melania.
Yes, absolutely.
About that. I was going to say we're going to get a Netflix wing of the Trump Presidential Library, but I think it's just we talk a lot about oligarchy these days and the feeling of it, but it really is a moment in time and a situation where the standard now is that any major company that wants to get something done in this country, their fastest path to make it happen, to skip the regulatory stuff, to even skirt around the laws of the land that ensure they don't hurt consumers, that they are like operating fairly in market environments, fastest path to get around that is talking to the president. And that is an absolutely heinous precedent to set for this nation, because you can't go back
making
from that.
Rush Hour 4, for that matter.
That
Jason Selvig, Nikki McCann Ramirez, thank you so much for joining us.